All right, hey everybody, how's it going? I just thought it'd be fun to do a little pick and gut of Avis 7240. This is one I've been messing with quite a bit. Not a super difficult pick, but I haven't gutted it before, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to give it a run today. One thing that's really cool about these is they've got this super neat paracentric keyway. So as you can see here, all of this warding kind of gets in the way of your pick. You can't fit straight in and up. You kind of end up having to go and pick through the warding up in like that. And it's a pretty unique pick. There's little spaces in that kind of middle section of warding there, all the way back for each pin. So it makes it a little bit of a fun challenge. Some people, will end up bending picks on some of that stuff because it gets a little tight in there sometimes. So we are going to use 30 thousandths top of keyway. That's kind of what I like to do. This one specifically, pretty much all 7240s actually. But yeah, so we'll give it a run through, we'll give it a gut, and we'll see how we do. All right, so starting on pin 1, we have a little bit of binding. Oh, click out of 1. Pin 2, get a little bit of counter rotation and click out of 2. Pin 3, we're getting a little bit of counter rotation. I don't think he's quite ready to be set. Pin 4. Got him feeling set. Pin 5. Pin 6, get a little bit of counter rotation. Oh. We'll reset him, give him one more try from the top. So pin 1, binding, very high lift, we'll set him. Pin 2, little lift, he kind of counter rotated just a little bit. Pin 3, and pin 4. Oh, there's the open. So pretty simple lock. Let's pull it open and see what we can do. So this one's pretty simple. There's a Phillips screw right down in the top there. Go ahead, pull that guy all the way out. There we go. Drop the core out. Now I haven't gutted this guy before, but I'm excited to kind of see what I'm playing with on the inside. Rarely ever have to touch those back 2 pins. They tend to just kind of set themselves almost. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with the cut up. Maybe the driver pins are sitting inside the core or something like that. Oh, there goes the C-clip. Grab a follower. Grab our key. Just a sec. Kind of keep it all on a big ring of random keys. Anyway, turn him that way. Give him a little push off. There we go. We're sticking on that first pin. There we go. All right. Wow, those last 2 are very shallow. My guess is those driver pins probably do sit below the shear line there. Anyway, let's see what we're dealing with. So pin 1, standard, 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 standard pin, another standard pin, and another standard pin. Okay, so all of those are the same, or at least those last 2 are the same cut. Get some of these reoriented here. So as we can see, that pin 3 is a pretty low lift pin. Kind of have some higher lift right behind it. Let's see what we're dealing with in the core here. Like I said, I've never gutted this before, so there's first time for everything. We'll just we'll see what we're dealing with. So pin 1 is standard, and the spring standard. Pin 2, we have a spool. That's expected. I was getting a lot of counter rotation there, so that is kind of expected. Pin 3, I believe we only have spool pins in these. Spool, that one didn't really come into play though, with how the bitting was. Pin 4 is another spool. Standard spring also. Pin 5, another spool. And pin 6, you guessed it, another spool. All right, so pretty standard for a 7240. Lots of spool pins. Great feedback. It's a very, very nice core. Maybe I can do a little bit of a... There we go. See that pretty good there. So we've got spools on 2 through 6 and a standard pin in slot 1. Pretty simple. Lock, a lot of fun to pick. Gut's pretty easy. The spools are pretty deep, so you get that nice deep fall set, and it's you know, pretty satisfying. In this case, you just set pin 1 and the rest is history. You kind of just run all the way back. But let's see, I'm curious about if I drop pin 6 back in, and then if I drop this spool on top, does it sit? Yeah, so there we go. I don't know if you saw that, but that's with the spool sitting in. So if you can imagine in the Bible, that spring just sits right on top right there. And we basically don't even have to touch those last 2 pins because that's they're the same pinning right there, or same cut on the key. So that's kind of interesting there. Anyway, put those back out, drop those guys back out. Yeah, so that's the 7240. It's a great lock, lots of fun. Really well machined. They tolerances are great, a lot of fun to pick. And you know, the fit and finish on them is just really great. So you know, stay tuned. I've got a number of other things planned. Tonight I've got a whole lineup off camera there. I've got about, I think it's 29 lotto locks that I just picked up off Facebook. I picked through them all yesterday, so it won't be a blind picking, but we'll just kind of go through them and see what we can kind of learn from them. I've got about 15 that are key to like, so I'm thinking about making a video kind of going over why bidding isn't a huge deal when you're picking through locks, and kind of why even when you're picking through something that's key to like, you might run into things that are you know, challenging even when it's the exact same bidding on another key or on another lock that feels very easy to pick through. Some might feel much more challenging. So I've got that planned. I've got about 14 how many is that actually? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 that are all keyed different. So we'll run through those as well. And you know, it'll be a fun video, just kind of a lot of random picking, going through stuff, seeing what's going on. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna get this put back together, and we'll see you next time. You guys have a good one.